So, so we can call this to order. Does anybody want to make any amendments to the agenda?
I'm here, thank you.
I make a motion to accept the
Could I
agenda
just
as written.
mention one, we've got a lot of questions about the conservation restrictions, and that's not on the agenda, but we should talk about that
Okay.
tonight. If we have any new information.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay.
Okay.
I make a motion to accept the agenda with the amendment of the CRs.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks. Okay, do we have? No, so we have 3 RDAs? Do you want to do those first?
Yeah, we could do that, because the other one can't start till 6:45.
Right. Okay, and so Pat explained that the wetlands hearing for Gordon Ocean Ave is going to be continued. So if anybody was,
24th.
okay. We'll wait till 6:30 to vote it, but just so if anybody's hanging around, they don't have to. Okay,
Oh, the Ocean Ave one is gonna be continued?
Continue to 6:20.
yeah. So on RDAs,
Do you want me to make a motion to continue that and get it out of the way, or you have to wait till 6:30 to do it?
for the Gordon one,
Yes,
I think we should wait.
okay.
So is this Central Ave, Humrock, the parking and storage pod, is that we opened that before, correct?
Right, yeah.
Okay. And,
But it-
and you're saying that,
They asked to continue so they could find out the ownership of the parcel, and Jim Toomey looked into it, and they don't have any paperwork, but they're saying that they believe the town owns it, but that's not enough information for recreation to say, let's go ahead with it. So they want to hold off. So, I mean, Penny talked about, you know, withdrawal without prejudice, but when you receive the RDA, that doesn't show up as one of the choices. They really want you to decide what you found. And I mean, there are resource areas out there. And at least if we're saying, yep, there's resource areas, so if you come back, you can't just go ahead and put a pod down. You're gonna have to come back and show us what you wanna do.
but if we find it a positive, if we have a positive finding, does that mean they're gonna have to file an NOI?
Well, no, if you read the positive one, it just says the area described on the reference plan is an area subject to protection under the Act. Removing, filling, dredging, or altering would require a notice of intent, but they haven't said they're gonna remove, fill, dredge, or alter. They just said they wanna work
And if they
there.
were, we'd have to have them, so.
Right.
That's fine.
Right.
So I'd accept a motion for positive determination, number 1. I mean,
Why are we doing anything if
It's never been discussed.
they haven't come before us?
Well, they were
They
in.
did.
They were
Well, I
in.
know they were
Right,
in, but,
right.
I mean, what are we doing now?
Couldn't
Well-
it just be continued?
Yeah, I mean, if you read the DOA, there's no choice withdraw without prejudice, you know, unless there's something somewhere else. I mean, it doesn't give that as one of the alternatives. For a notice of intent, if you put in a notice of intent and you say, gee, we're gonna change this plan, can we withdraw without prejudice? An RDA is you're just determining whether they will have to file or they won't have to file, or whether.
but actually, well,
back.
but the problem that they're having is that they don't have clear ownership.
Which has led recreation to say, we're not gonna do anything at this point.
But, so the problem, so you can't technically file on someone else's property.
Without the permission.
Right. So they're wondering whether they should have filed this to start with,
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question.
right? I mean, if they find out that they didn't own it, or they don't have clear ownership of it, should they have filed in the first, I'm wondering if.
Should have known that first.
Right, so can
Right.
we, well, I guess the question is, can we just do nothing?
The problem with that is if they find out they do own it, and they just say, well, we're gonna put a pod on there, I think what we'd like to have happen is if they do own it, to come back to us.
Right.
So couldn't it just be continued without a specific date?
Well, the state says you have to make a determination on an RDA within 21 days. We've extended it beyond that. You're allowed, under, you know, circumstances like the ownership issue, can continue it. But they don't want you to continue RDAs unless there's.
I understand we should, if, But it's, almost seems like they jumped the gun and they shouldn't have filed this to start with. And they may be filing, there's a possibility that they're filing on someone else's property.
Yes, I don't know.
I mean, that's the reason that we can't act on this, is because they can't show
Ownership.
Yes, we don't know who's.
clear ownership. So I'm just wondering if that we just, can we just not do any?
Might be possible, I don't know about that option, but
Well,
you know. If it's in the regulation somewhere, then, because I would say you can vote on it, and you can say positive or negative, but it's not like they didn't open up and give us information. It's like they're not withdrawing before the hearing. They're not saying, oh, never mind, we're not gonna do it. We opened it, we discussed it, we sent out they sent out a butter notification, so. I mean, I think the reason for doing this is so that someone doesn't come back and say, hey, we can do what we want, it's our property. I think if they come back, they should have to file something again.
I don't know.
I mean, it sounds to me as though I would vote for a positive. I mean, just,
Right.
and let them come back in again with
Right.
whatever they want
That's
to
what
do.
I said, I would accept the motion of, as Pat's saying, for a positive one, basically you can't do these things.
A positive one, is
Yeah.
that, okay, okay. I would make that motion.
A second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So then we have 49 Surfside, repair footings, walls and sills. Is anybody in here for that? Hop up here first. On June 10th, 2013, at 6:15 meeting, Town Hall Scituate Conservation Commission will act on the request of Michael and Heather Vaughn for a determination of applicability to the Massachusetts General Wetlands Protection Act and the Scituate Wetlands Bylaw to repair foundation, walls, and sill on property located at 49 Surfside Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Okay. And just for the record, your name and
Michael Vaughn.
I'm Heather Vaughn.
Heather. So maybe you just want to explain what you'd like to do?
Sure, well, we bought the house in October of this past year.
Lucky you, huh?
No,
I know.
exactly. We closed the day before, we closed the day before Sandy. And, well, we, and so we had a great winter. But we got welcomed to the area. So, basically, when we bought the house, we did a bunch of due diligence because it was fairly apparent that the street side of the property had been neglected, left not
Had
dealt
its original
with.
foundation, wooden
And-
foundation.
And so we did some work with Rivermore Engineering, who came over and looked at it and assessed what was going on. And then, talking to the building people, building inspector here, Neil, and what have you. Basically, what we're trying to do is to keep the house, the street side of the house up. The sill is gone, and so we just need to try to keep the house from falling into any more disrepair.
Okay. Don't have mine in front of me. Do you have the filing?
We're staying in the existing footprint.
We're just repairing the foundation to equal what was the back foundation, the oceanside
That's not-
You're
foundation.
not extending anything?
No, we're just trying to hold the house up.
Yeah.
We're not even gonna try to level the house.
Yeah.
The house has dropped significantly, but we're just gonna shore it up
Working with it.
and use the funky floors as they are, so. I have full-size plans if you guys need to take a look at them too.
Do you have any idea what the elevation is?
I have the septic plan that has an elevation on it. I don't know how to read, I don't know how to read.
The first floor.
The first floor.
Oh, the first floor is about, the first floor is on grade, I guess.
on grade.
Right.
Can we, You said you have a full
Yeah,
set?
yeah, absolutely. So,
Back to Penny. It's really hard to see.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the septic plan that's on file with the town.
So supposedly it's roughly 36% of the original foundation is what remains to be repaired.
So the seawalls.
Yeah,
Is
the
that
sea-
what remains, or is,
No,
Well-
no. What needs to be repaired is 36%,
Right.
so it's not, doesn't fall within the substantial improvements.
Right, it's.
Those type of things. Yeah, on the seaside, there's the seawall, and then there's actually two foundations that would have been built over time. Just the street side has never been
So
addressed.
this is what remains of the original foundation, wooden cedar posts kind of thing, and that's 36% that we want to fix, need to fix.
Do I have the right one? I thought you said Rivermore, but.
Yeah, well,
this-
they came in and did the original assessment, but the builders needed a shoring plan, so I went to McKinnon, yeah.
What does the house sit on? Are you saying
It
it's
sits
on
on-
pilings?
No, 3/4 of the house sit on concrete foundation.
Concrete foundation?
Yeah, on the street, that's on the beach side of the house and coming down the sides. And then the street side had been resting on cedar posts, but
original
has
ones, yeah.
rotted away. There's there's nothing hooked there now.
So when you look at the house, you can actually see that you can see this sort of side sag that's happening.
See the V zone,
Yeah.
they're just outside of it. Did you see that, Pat? The house is out of the V zone altogether. It's in an A.
Yeah, it's in the OA, AO, yeah,
AO.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was down Surfside, but you couldn't get down the road today. They
Yeah, I
had-
know,
Yeah,
they
were-
paved,
were
they paved
paving.
it.
They were paving.
So I couldn't get down to actually view the house.
Yeah.
The first floor elevation of this house is at 1911,
Okay.
and in the A9, it would be elevation 10. And even in the V zone, it would be elevation 17. So,
It's up there.
it's all right,
Yeah.
yeah.
and I think that foundation is compatible with the AO zone.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem.
No, I wish I had been able to, but I just couldn't get down the road.
Today, tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna make a decision tonight, though, for you.
Is there any other, are you doing any other work? Any work on the driveway or walkways or anything like that?
Not
Not at the
this time,
moment. That
no.
will be coming again to talk to you about that.
Yeah, we're just trying to shore the house up, make sure that we can stay for as many years as we'd like to. Have our grandkids come and enjoy the place, so that's all we care about at this point.
Grandkids love pickup sticks.
Yeah, exactly, well,
Let's hope it's not that. It's been there for
Be able-
100 years, so,
No, this is what's important to do.
yes.
Right.
Not the cosmetics.
right,
stuff.
exactly, and that's really,
Yeah.
so,
So what are you gonna do? You're going to lift
yeah, they're
lift the
gonna,
house up, take out the foundation and
yes.
put in a new foundation?
Crib it but not elevate it. We're
Yeah.
not trying to correct the deficits that have occurred.
right,
We
Right,
will crib it, stabilize it, put a new foundation on, new base walls, and voila.
You can't see that, Tony, but on this plan, they're showing they're putting like 3 I-beams.
Yes, we are doing that as
okay.
well. Yeah.
okay.
mhm.
Yeah, we really need to just stabilize.
And the next.
Alrighty,
underneath
yeah.
Mhm.
that. Okay.
I don't have any more questions. Anybody else?
All right.
I'll make a motion for a negative 3.
Three.
It's a RDA we did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on how many pairs of glasses you wear.
I know, I know. I wish I could wear bifocals.
I think she made the motion, I second it.
Okay. Anything you want to add to that?
I don't know if it's.
Just
3 or
basically
4.
restore the site to the way
Yeah.
it is. now.
Exactly, exactly, yes.
Great.
All in favor?
Motion,
And
second, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Thank you very much, folks, appreciate it.
Have fun.
Thanks.
It has been fun, actually, we love it.
It's a great
Hey,
spot.
listen, you know, you just have to accept the responsibility that comes with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Living near the
We're gonna
ocean.
start with a good solid foundation.
There you go.
Thank you.
Bye now.
298 Central Ave, repair deck and footings.
The homeowners.
So-
How are you?
Good, hey, Tom.
And Janet Dow is the homeowner.
Just gotta read this little spiel here, and then you guys can fire
Oh,
away,
okay.
all right?
Yep.
On June 10th, 2013, during the 6:15 meeting of the Town Hall, the Situate Conservation Commission will act on the request of John Dow for determination of applicability in the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and Situate Wetlands Bylaw to repair a deck on property located at 298 Central Ave, Hummerock. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Okay.
Picture or anything.
Out of the 6 existing footings that were there, four heavily damaged and the other 2 slightly damaged. They didn't lose the deck itself, but all the, actually, the structural engineer added an additional support, so there'll be 7 after the work is done. It's all been drawn up by Anderson Engineering out of Marshfield.
Yeah, I wish
Anderson
we
Structural
had a
Engineering.
Sketch of it.
You do have a sketch?
We do not.
No, I wish we did.
Oh, all those copies, jeez. I made about 11 copies, but,
No, we didn't.
I've been by the house, I know the house.
yeah, that's on the,
Oh, you know what? You have the wrong house.
Got the wrong house order.
Yes.
no, that's
No, he's. what-
298 Central Ave.
All right, I'm the one confused. I'm sorry.
Nope, no problem.
Let me see. Thank you.
Did you each get a copy of the plans from Anderson Structural Engineering?
I'm just getting myself all confused here. See, this letter was from town, not the Surfside Road.
You wanna look
If you
at
have
these?
an extra, yeah.
I do.
Here, if you want to pass, you can take mine.
Tom?
I'm sorry, I had it with the wrong file.
All right, thanks.
So we didn't lose the deck. It did drop about 14 inches. And it's been re-supported since, awaiting approval from the steps it takes, of course, conservation, and then back to the building department.
Uh-huh.
So you gotta, do you have to remove any, Tom, or are they all already gone, or are there already any sonotubes or piles or anything there?
They're existing, there's 2, but which they are is basically the creosote soap telephone poles.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably went down into a concrete footing that wasn't, it may be 3 feet. So that's why they're all gonna be replaced, and then they'll be cut off and then tied in the way he has drawn up.
So you're gonna excavate and put that footing
Yes,
down, it's a
Just-
concrete piece like 8 feet deep,
that's exactly what he wants, right.
and then you're gonna come up with a,
Yeah, he'll bring that up. I think he recommends cutting off maybe 2 to 3 inches off of each and applying the Simpson tie onto that. which
Is the
would be-
deck there that size now?
Yes, oh yeah, there's no change in the footprint. The deck is already existing. Was it 42 feet, 43 feet long?
Yep.
Yeah, 8 feet out.
And what are you doing with the existing deck? Are you gonna get rid of that and then
Oh, no, that's staying
just
as
take it
is.
off and,
It's just gonna resupport it in a more up to codes, up to today's codes.
Oh, you don't see, is there a seawall in front of this, or?
No,
Okay.
no, it's wide open to the ocean, yeah.
Okay.
excuse me.
Anything?
No,
Nope.
Are you gonna interconnect these pilings, or are they gonna be freestanding?
Each one is freestanding, tied into the beam going across, the
Just to
girder
the
going
beam.
across, and then tied into the hurricane ties, all stainless steel. It's gonna be all tied in that way.
But you're not gonna have any cross joints or anything?
Well, actually, what's existing now is, at a 45-degree angle, they go back into a foundation on the house.
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, they can't hold it back.
Yeah, we'll be doing the exact same thing.
Okay.
Show you a picture.
No, I think that's fine. Anybody,
Okay.
No,
a motion?
motion for -3.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And basically the same thing, you just, once you're done, everything gets leveled out, put back the way it is now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Negative's good.
That's what you want.
Oh. Thank you. Thanks, Pat.
See you, Tom.
See you around.
Oh, we can vote that. This is for-
Oh, yeah. So, wetlands here in Gordon, Ocean Ave, we opened this at the last meeting, and they asked to continue it, and they are again. I guess they're trying to work out some of the details. So we'd like to, do they want to just do that till the next meeting?
24th.
So a motion to extend Gordon, Ocean Ave, new building septic to, what's the date?
624.
6:20.
June 24th, at what time?
7.
7 PM.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay. And now, I think we're there, right?
Yeah.
Wetlands hearing, Biviano, 6 Cliff Road, septic. So on June 10th, 2013, is 35 PM. Town of Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws regarding the application of Michael Biviano to repair a septic system on property located at number 6 Cliff Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Bob?
Yeah, my name is Robert Crawford, representing Tom Romalovich, the owner of the property. Mr. Biviano is on vacation, as I understand it. Basically, this is a lot on the ocean side of Cliff Road, right at the base of the cliff. And in the storm that we had, I believe it was December, the existing leaching pit was damaged beyond repair. So we're proposing to replace that with 104 linear feet of plastic leaching chambers. The lot lies, well, the area of the lot where the house and the system is located is in a FEMA VE flood zone, elevation 13. And the existing septic tank was checked and found to be okay. The ground elevation is, the area of the top of the system is around 11, and the system itself, the top of it is at elevation 9. In addition to that, there's a small concrete slab that will be removed. There's approximately 1,000 square feet of change to the lot. Try to answer any questions you have.
Penny?
No, I guess, go ahead, Richard.
No, I don't have any. It's very simple.
Penny, can I steal your?
Yeah. I think you, is that on this side?
This one. I missed the whole packet. I don't know.
The same thing. I looked at this before.
Believe so.
Is the leaching field on your property?
Yeah,
The proposed leaching field is, yes.
Existing leaching field, it looks like it's, oh, is this a property line? No? Yes? I don't know.
The property lines are the lines with the dimensions on it and the bearings.
So the old one was, never mind. It's all right, you got a new one going in.
Yeah, in addition, it's believed that the water main goes through the property too close to where we're proposing to put the system.
Yeah.
So it may, we're planning to have it moved out into the street as part of this work, if need be.
Okay.
I think you're looking at, the thing that's saying existing leaching, Penny, is the next door neighbor. What they have right now is a
Oh,
cesspool.
okay,
Oh,
'cause
yeah,
that's,
that's the
you know, you
abutting
don't
lot.
see anything else. so that's
Jennifer
What
okay.
they have right
Yeah.
now is a cesspool.
Cesspool,
right
right
here.
there, the circle,
Right.
yeah.
Jennifer requires abutting systems to be shown on the,
That's okay. I just was getting confused. Thank you.
And everybody was following you.
I know.
No, I'm looking for it.
Follow me down the old brick road.
Pat, do you have it?
Well, I just had a couple of questions, is the whole thing is in the velocity zone, and did Board of Health give you the variances already? Have they?
no, we have the variance hearing at the 17th, and following that, it will have to go to DEP.
Okay.
However, Jennifer ran this leaching facility in the V-zone, and the tank in the V-zone by Brett Rowe at
Oh, okay.
Lakeville, and he said that in this situation that it would be allowed.
Okay, and then DEP signs off on it and lets the Board of Health know?
Yes.
Okay.
So we'd like to continue the hearing anyway until the 24th.
Okay.
Does anybody have any concerns with this, though, as long as they're moving forward?
No,
I have
as
nothing.
long as the Board of Health is happy with everything.
Do you have any other issues, Pat?
No. And you were saying that you're taking up some of the concrete and? what's
Yeah,
it
there's a
be?
small slab, it's about 10 feet by 12 feet or something
It's
like.
gonna be left as gravel or sand?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
good. That's good.
So I gotta continue it, right?
Motion to continue,
This is Penny's.
6 Cliff Ave, I'm not gonna try to pronounce the name,
Road,
until June 24th at 7:10.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
okay, thanks.
thank you.
But we don't, I mean, in moving forward. So
Okay,
it's
thanks
just
a lot. You guys have a
formality of waiting.
good- Okay, thanks a lot. You guys have a good evening.
You want to get orders of conditions out of the way?
Sure.
15 Ocean Drive, septic.
Second. I make a motion to accept this written.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And 30 Clover Lane,
I make a motion to accept this written. Clover.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any particular order that you want to jump to?
No, whatever you like.
Follow-ups at 119 Kent Street.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has heard much about this one. This is the house on Kent that, it looks like it's been abandoned for a long time.
It was a bed and breakfast.
Right.
Oh.
It's,
Do we have
some-
jurisdiction there? Is there wetlands in the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Wetlands.
flood zone, coastal flood, yeah, and there's wetlands in the back too. And someone is proposing to come in and knock down everything and then build a new house there. So it's gonna be in the A zone and it's coming our way, but if people wanted to just take a look at it and if you have any thoughts. Because there's gonna be, There's a wetland, salt marsh way in the back, probably within 100 feet. The whole thing's in coastal storm flowage. Looks like anything they do there would be an improvement. It's really in tough shape.
Well, it's too bad because it's a lovely old home
Yeah.
that was just left in disrepair and the kids got inside and,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
yeah.
Wasn't somebody hurt pretty badly?
Yeah,
there?
the
Yeah.
kids having a party and some kid fell on a picket fence or something.
Right,
It
right.
was, you know, an
Yeah.
absolute disaster.
But we'll still have to condition, even a demolition, we'll have
Yeah.
to at least have an IDA or
They're
something.
gonna come to us. They just wanted to let us know this is coming, so.
Okay. Well, it'd be nice to see it cleaned up.
No, it's a mess.
Yeah.
Too bad they couldn't restore it, but.
Mm. Yeah, the guy that's buying it, he's a builder, so.
60 Ocean Drive, what was that?
This was a woman who wants to know if she could put a lawn in, and it's in Rich's neck of the woods. I don't know if you get out there.
I have not seen it.
Okay, this is,
I know where it is, I just haven't.
Yeah, it's on the closer end to the
Actually much
bridge
closer to
on
Paul.
Ocean. Yeah, closer to Paul up there. And right now, it's sand and concrete paved area, and she wants to know if she could put a lawn in there. I said, we'd take a look. It looks like there'd be an area you could do some plantings of beach grass, and you could do some,
I was gonna say, does she want a lawn of American beach grass?
right, her preference is not that, but,
Sod, probably.
yeah, so right now, it's a mixture of paved asphalt and sand. And I was thinking, maybe there's
I'll look
something that could be done with,
I'll go up there.
beach rows and stuff, and then maybe a lawn and part of it. I don't
Did you
know.
go down that end of Humrock?
Yeah, occasionally I wander down, yeah.
They let you over?
My wife and I
I
walk
mean,
down.
it's
Did you
in-
go by
it's in
yourself
tough
down there?
shape, so-
No, my wife goes with me.
Okay, there you go.
All right, well,
so
that
I
basically,
told her we'd take a look, and, I looked at it, and part of it,
yeah, I mean,
needs
obviously, if
improvement,
there was a
yeah.
gain in terms of cleaning up some of the stuff,
Right.
that'd be great.
that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
All right,
All right.
appreciate you taking.
Not a
peek.
problem.
so,
That one's easy. So's the next one, I think.
hopefully, yeah.
Dodge.
Dodge Road,
Yeah, Dodge Road came in as a complaint that the road had been graded and dune had been disturbed and a lot of things had gone on. And another complaint was that up by the seawall, the person who lives there hasn't paved, but has put pavers in for quite a distance down the street. And I don't know if a permit was pulled for doing that. It looks like it goes back a way. And then the street's been gravelled. I don't know if there was any permit for that either, but,
There definitely wasn't a permit pulled for the
Yeah.
gravel, but it is gravel.
yeah, right. It might have been something that would have been approved, but I couldn't find anything saying that people had asked for permission to do it, but, now, how about the pavers at the end? Was that something
I-
that's,
Honestly, did not see them, and I walked up there today.
oh,
I
cause
did not see any pavers. I told you
Might
that,
be buried.
that all of the sand and rocks have been removed from 3 houses there. It was
Yes,
Biagini
yeah.
had taken them out and put them back via Atlantic Ave back to the beach, everything that came in from the storms.
that was the original complaint.
That was the original
Stone was being taken off
Yeah.
Humrock and put somewhere else, but it's going around the
Went
block.
right around to
going
the
back.
beach. In fact, I went up with him. I did not go up today, but I've gone up with him before.
Uh,
He showed me exactly what he was
And
doing.
I think somebody was saying they may be in a butter. They were thinking that they're getting more storm overwash now that there are pavers there than before. But I don't know what was there previously, whether it was dirt, paved, what.
It was all dirt before. The only difference really is Biagini came in and at his own expense, put in the crushed stone. Or it isn't crushed, actually. It's more of almost like it's just stone, and it's flat. And it actually is one of the nicer side streets right now.
Maybe you
in
could
Humrock.
just mention to him that if he
I
ever wants to do something
did
again,
today.
please come in. I mean, the RDA is no big deal.
How do you spell his name?
Biagini, I believe. I believe he lives in Marshfield.
Because the problem with him doing it on his own,
I know.
which is wonderful, is that other people see it and then they do something that isn't so wonderful.
who contracted to have it done? I mean,
Nobody, what he
the guy
told
just
me.
went down there out of the goodness of.
No, he was well paid for removing all the sand and stone that the storms had brought in and taking it around to the beach.
Okay,
He did the rest of it just on his own. But believe me, he was well paid.
okay.
Yeah, the issue about the small gravel and stone though too is the next storm, that gets washed
That's
down
right.
across
That's
Central and
right.
into the marsh. So some ways, a sand street that's packed down is better than that, and they should really come and speak to us before they do that.
Can we send them a letter?
Yeah, I know the contractor's name, and we're thinking it's the house all the way down on the right at the beach where the pavers are, the pink pavers.
If you say so, I'll walk up there tomorrow.
Yeah, I think
mean,
it's
it's the next street for me.
the
It's
If you could-
literally
all right, why don't you
almost
just-
abuts me.
If you can find out who
Sure.
contracted for that, and if not, well, let's send a letter to the contractor saying you shouldn't, and we'd like to know who paid him or who hired him
Yeah.
to do that, and make sure that both parties are aware
Sure.
of it.
No, good idea.
All right. Certificates of compliance? I know I didn't get a chance to go with you to a couple, I apologize.
Yeah, those two, the two on border, we can do the same day, but they would like it done, but they weren't urgent, they weren't
All right,
closing.
we'll try to find some time this
Okay.
week to. So 18 Hatherley?
Atherley, it's right beside the tavern.
All right. Does anybody remember that the applicant came in, they wanted to do a pool,
Yeah.
there was a shed that was sort of in the wetlands. We kind of worked out a couple of things they could,
Wasn't that on the golf course?
That's what I thought.
no, this is at the far other end, this is down the harbor.
Oh, okay.
Right down the harbor by the,
Oh, okay.
Scituate.
I don't remember it then.
And it was a fairly large lot, and there's a marsh behind it,
Oh, yes, yes, now I remember it, yeah,
and,
yeah.
yeah, and I think we told them just to turn the pool away to get it out, but apparently,
Gotcha.
And it was gonna be in ground, and then it was switched to above ground
Yes,
for the revised plan.
yes. And we did have them turn. Yeah.
And the shed's gone, and the plantings look great. The plantings are all in it.
so what do they want to do?
Certificate of compliance, but I don't think we've received the check yet. That was the, remain.
Bring it in tomorrow when they pick
Okay.
up the
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Okay. 205 Bailey's Island?
This was a septic system. Bailey's Island is way out there up by Border Street and Indian Trail up that way. And this was a septic that was put in several years ago, according to a plan, and then just got forgotten about. And now there's a change in ownership, or there's
Is
an
that
old.
Nichols?
Yes, yes. It was an interesting
Yeah.
story behind the whole thing. So anyway, this attorney called, and he'd like to get it closed out because it's coming into an estate
So do we
battle.
want an engineer to send us something on that one, do you think?
It was, the septic plans and stuff was sent in, I think. don't know
But I
if
mean, do we
have
want an engineer just to
It's done.
say it's
Right.
done correctly, or do you want, I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking they sent in the as-built to us on, yeah, it's one of those ones where it was sent in years and years ago, I think, but it just never got closed out. But if we don't have it here, we can, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure we have, but if we don't, we can get it.
But,
Well, how does what's been done compare to what was,
approved?
was approved?
Well, he sent an as-built to the Board of Health, and of the septic, the way it was done.
With
when
no
it was
comment,
completed.
right?
No, it was the plan, the
Yeah,
stamped plan.
right. So the
Right.
question is, how do the two compare?
Right, oh, yeah, sorry, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it did, it compared with the original plan.
It is the
It is,
original
it
plan,
is.
it's the approved plan.
It is, but I don't know if we got anything from certificate of compliance paperwork in the last 5 years. I think it was a long time ago where that all was sent to us, so.
We did get an as-built, we didn't get a letter, I thought we.
Right.
Who was the engineer, Carol?
Outback Engineering.
Yeah, Outback, so they recontacted Outback.
You wanna see it?
No, that's okay, I'm just wondering if Outback should just go out and look at the site and see if it was done in compliance.
Well, I think that's who did the as-built.
But we never got, I mean, oftentimes, like Bob Crawford that was here, there's others, will just simply send us a letter saying it's in compliance.
Right, right, right. And I went out there, and I don't know if we need an engineer to go out there. I mean, they sent the plan, I walked the site, saw where the
Okay.
septic was compared to the shed and to the house.
Were there other plantings or anything that was supposed to be installed? Do Do you know?
Didn't say anything that I could find in there.
Okay.
So, it was, the distance from the marsh was the main issue on that, so.
Okay. I mean, if it meets the orders, then I don't have a problem with it.
I agree, if it meets the orders, right.
Yeah.
And you're confident that,
Yeah, I mean, it made it sound like it had come in here in the past before, and then it just never got closed out. And I went out there and said, well, yeah, the as-built looks like the original plan, so. And there were no required plantings, so.
Jesus Christ.
I thought Henderson said he was gonna get a letter from the engineer.
I think it's in there,
I didn't see
the
it.
recent stuff. Yeah, Henderson sent in,
He sent in a letter. Henderson.
yeah, there's an Outback letter in there from wherever it was. Should be up, yeah, it should be up near the front.
Not a request for continuances, but. Oh, wait, it's attached. Conducted an inspection. We do have a letter.
Okay, good.
and they say it's in compliance, and you've been there. Okay,
We'll give them a CFC.
okay. Sounds good to me.
Yep, no problem.
And 20 10th Ave?
Same thing, certificate of compliance. This was some footings in the back, and everything's done.
I don't remember that one, but.
Yes, you do. You
I
do.
guess you do.
It was for a deck or something on the back of the house. It was just a year or two ago. You remember it. You do.
Should I say okay, dear?
Yes, they okay.
Here we go.
That's what went wrong, huh?
Well, let's give them that one then. That would be the right answer.
Absolutely, generally speaking.
All right. I don't think you should leave.
CFC, what's on Oliver Street?
Nothing.
Oh,
That,
They wanted orders of conditions sent to them. They already had a certificate.
Okay.
oh, so, okay.
So, no conversation.
No.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Okay. All right, good. So we've worked our way through all of those, right?
Mhm.
And then enforcements. Ann Vinyl Road.
yeah, after several weeks, the letter got returned to us, so they never picked it up. And it did come back to us this past week. So I went back out there, knocked on the door, so I still have not met this person, and she hasn't opened any letter from us on enforcement, so.
I saw her today. She was working down at the corner of Gannett and Hathaway.
Yeah, that might be the place to catch her, out on the work site somewhere.
Yeah, the Curly's old house. She was there.
So-
Well, you know, you and I have to go to Border Street, so why don't we find a time during the week and we'll try to knock a few things
Yeah,
off.
and I think on hers, I'm pretty sure we sent a violation letter, but we didn't do an enforcement order because we were giving her a chance to talk to us, and
Yep.
if we can't get a hold of her at some point, well.
And Jim and I went out there and we had I thought, a reasonable discussion, and I thought we had an agreement.
She was going to get the back delineated. That's
Right.
what we asked her to do.
Yeah.
And then to stop dumping in that buffer zone.
So,
But she's out there dumping away.
so then do we just want to issue an enforcement order?
Yeah, I mean, we could give her one try to go out there and talk to her and then just send it, because, I
All
mean,
right.
Why don't you bring it with
Why
you?
don't you deliver it?
Yeah.
yeah, I went back with the letter this week, with the original letter, but she wasn't home, but,
Okay.
Cool.
I think we sent one certified and one regular.
Yeah.
You might have
Hoping,
had to
yeah.
open the other
See,
one.
she's
Yeah, we
smart,
can't
she's
prove it, though.
not touching those.
All right. Okay.
Gardner Road was still waiting on.
Gardner
Notice from
Road,
him.
yeah, the attorney for the property owner contacted our attorney
Yeah,
about the letter that was sent to him, because he received one certified and one regular. And he thinks that they'll be calling us about a notice of intent this week, but that doesn't get at our issue of the violation, so.
no, because he was told to do something.
Right, yeah, and the attorney called again and was talking about, well, the town caused the problem by putting in some drainage thing and all that, so.
Yeah, well, this is going for a while, but at
Yeah.
least it's all moving
Yeah,
forward.
yeah,
Slowly,
So.
it is.
heading toward the legal system, but,
Right. Well, hopefully they'll sift some of that out. Edward Foster Road?
yeah, that's the one we're gonna visit.
Yep. So we'll do that. We'll pick a time after the meeting. You and I can look
Okay.
at our calendars.
All right,
There's another one, though, that I thought were pretty reasonable with to start with. and it's too
Yeah.
good. Chief Justice Cushing,
yeah, this one, we're asking him to get the debris and the trees out of the wetland, and we talked about possibly asking for conservation posts so that it's marked off.
yep,
Where is this?
Yeah, we're on,
First one, when you're, okay, near the restaurant, near
Go past PJ's on the right.
PJ's.
Oh,
I know
oh,
where it
all
is.
right,
Slash.
I
And
know
then
who you're
there's a
talking about,
section
yeah, and
there.
they
Right.
they cut a bunch of trees
Yeah.
down.
Well, they
yes.
cleared out a bunch of brush and
Yeah.
a couple of things. I'm not sure what blew down or whatever, but it is right up against the marsh, so.
Yes,
Yeah.
he just has to protect that area.
Right, posts.
Because
and-
right now, it's totally unprotected. I mean, he
Yeah.
could just let it go wild,
Yeah,
Well,
because it is right up to the marsh.
Right.
So we got a buffer zone there that should, whatever.
Yep.
He definitely,
okay. Country Way?
he was gonna cut the pipe, this is the guy next to the grist mill.
yeah, it's still there,
It's not cut yet.
no.
So did you actually, I did meet with him. I think I told, we
I
talked about
talked
this
to
at the
him,
last
yeah.
meeting. Went down the cellar, showed me the whole
Yeah.
thing. So it's still sitting there the same?
He said
way?
he's gonna cut it, so he just hasn't gotten around to it yet, so,
Let's not rush.
How long does it take to do it?
right.
Okay.
Perhaps going into the,
Well, I think it's just
can't we
groundwater.
put it on a calendar? I mean, just send him a letter, ask,
So you've talked to him, but it hasn't been a letter. Do we
Right.
want to just send a letter out and say it's
Yeah.
got to be done by X
Yep.
date? Let's just pick a date. It's not that big a deal, a couple weeks.
Okay.
another Central Ave.
This is the same Central Ave. This is the boat trailer and,
288?
No.
No,
one
I'm sorry.
across from 142 or 148.
Got down there, the one
There's
that you
a-
sent out
It's Russell,
today.
it's
Yeah.
Russell
The
Clark.
picture, two more,
Yeah.
another trailer.
So
two
the
boat
choice
trailers
was, get it out or file with us. And he's real busy, we'll give you a couple of weeks. And then this weekend, some more stuff has appeared, so
It's time.
it's time.
It's been more than a few weeks.
Yeah,
Have you
so,
given him anything in writing
yeah.
to not do any more or to remove it?
To either remove it or to file. Like, if you remove it, you don't have to file. If you're gonna keep it there, you have to file and
Right.
see if it's allowed. And if it's not allowed, you have to take it out anyway.
But in the meantime, he's destroying beach grass. He's
Right.
driving over it.
Well,
Right.
Well,
that's true. Right now, just before I came over here, he has 2 empty boat trailers there.
Yeah,
There's, I mean, if it's not supposed to be there, it's not supposed to be there, but there's no huge ruts, it's not being destroyed.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean it should be there, but
yeah.
Right.
it,
I mean,
if
after
you were to
being
read the
told-
letters, you'd think it was a lot worse.
yeah.
than it
we
is.
got a letter from an abutter or some neighbor.
Oh, I saw it.
And there's an aerial photo, and yeah, I think that's the question is, should there be things there? I mean, no one's digging it up with a
Right.
bobcat or anything,
Right.
they're driving on
Exactly.
to that, and so, I think that's what we need to look at. But,
Okay, well, but.
again, I think maybe there's a deadline. We should just say, you know what, you're gonna have to file by, you know, July,
Or by the next meeting.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah, because I mean, after talking to him, I wouldn't have thought something new would get put on there. I
Right.
thought that was like going beyond.
Okay.
I'm not surprised.
Eisenhower Lane?
That's some cutting, there was some tree cutting and then some cutting in the wetland. And stuff that was cut was put in the wetland, so has to come out, some kind of replanting. It's wet.
Right. And I think we did deal, you and I talked about this, and on the other side of the stone wall was an enforcement that we did, it was a driveway, and the guy started clearing along the edge of the driveway.
Hollywood, yeah.
And so we had him do a planting plan and all that. So this is the same piece of wetlands that we required a neighbor
Okay, just on the other side
to
of
do.
those. Don't-
And I just explained to Pat that it's a relative, my brother. So I think it's probably best if maybe Kevin or somebody go with Pat and just take a look at it. And see, I don't think there was anything malicious there, as you
Right.
point out. Somebody made a mistake, and if you guys
Right.
can get out and take a look and.
Yeah, I told him something would be, need to be replanted and that we'll be out there to look at it and talk it over.
Okay.
Can- just
This is,
talk with
this is
Bob.
your brother, Frank?
No, it's my
His sister-in-law's.
sister-in-law's brother.
Oh, oh,
So it's
yeah, right.
just a little bit removed, but.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna go on any family outings, it'd probably be better if Kevin goes to the, unless Penny wants to go.
Just a question. I do believe when we had Charlie Woods in, and I love Charlie Woods, but I think he's parking trucks out behind the house.
I was back out there. I mean, he has parking right behind his house where it's gravel, but the area that was all,
Okay, but he's not.
looked good to me. I mean, it looks like all the things are getting established, cause I
Oh,
just
yeah,
happened to
no,
look at it.
everything looks great,
Yeah,
but I just happened to notice, and I says, ooh, I don't think he's supposed to be parking. Now, it could have just been my perception, and he was right behind the house.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Everything to the right is sort of boarded off, and
yeah,
it's
okay,
all planted.
good. No, he did a good job.
Maryland Road?
This one was, I don't know if anybody's had a chance to see it off of Old Oaken Bucket. There's a lot of clearing. There's the last house down the end of the cul-de-sac. And
Is
this
this where the bullfrog was?
No, the
turtle,
snapper.
snapping
snapper,
turtle, yeah.
snapper turtle.
Yeah, so, at this point, I tried to reach Walter Hewitson, and I haven't reached him yet, but I was gonna give these people a chance to pick between two wetland people to delineate, because it's gonna be hard to even tell where the wetland was, because they've cleared a lot of stuff. It backs up to a pond that feeds the cranberry bogs, you know, the big cranberry bogs off of Old Oaken Bucket.
Right.
So this is a marsh right next to that. So,
And you think they're into the wetlands?
yep. So they can, I haven't written that letter yet. I was trying to get information about the wetland scientist to put in the letter, but I'll write them a letter tomorrow and then tell them it has to be delineated,
Yeah.
so. The other one on Eisenhower was clear cut. It was right at the edge of his lawn. That's where the wetlands that they don't need to flag it, but this one, it's, probably have to do soils to figure out where it was,
Okay.
so.
It's one of those dead-end roads that you
Yeah.
don't see very much, but,
I know exactly where it
Mm.
is.
I know where it is.
okay. And Seaside?
Seaside was in Todd's neighborhood, and we had talked to, somebody had taken tons of big boulders and dumped them over the seawall, and we don't know what company did it, but there's
Seaside
piles.
doesn't have a,
Is it Seaside? Is
yeah,
it?
but that doesn't have to have a seawall, it's just a, cobble pile there. There's no
Well, thi-
seawall.
This, I thought this was over a wall, like the road where the store is, you know, that store?
That's
Oh, that would. what's that?
Standish.
Standish.
So you
It
go
might
down the
be-
end of
yes.
Standish.
Standish,
And is
there's a
that-
wall there.
Yeah, that's where the rocks were dumped.
Oh, really?
At the end of
I
Standish?
believe it was at the end of Standish, over the wall there.
Well, what's the address on Seaside that we're looking at?
It's just at the turn of the street. There's really no house right there. It looks like somebody just brought it and dumped their stones over there, so.
We're working
Yeah.
right there at the end of the road.
Oh, yeah. I believe that's where it is. Todd showed me this about maybe
Well, I'll
month
take
and
a
a
look
half
tomorrow.
ago.
I don't remember seeing it.
Okay.
There was Lynch had permission to rebuild the seawall, like moving southerly from that. They repaired 2 seawalls and they
Oh,
were
with
permitted.
a permit?
Yeah.
Okay, because, yeah, Todd and I went down, it was just a pile of rocks, and it might have been part of a project that didn't get put in place yet.
I'll try to take a look. I mean, I didn't see any work going on there, but
Right.
I might have just not looked over the edge. But last year, I think it was last year or the year before, there was Grande and McLean, and I think they both did seawall work, and Lynch did that work when they were doing some other stuff. And I thought we conditioned both those projects.
Okay, maybe they were
But if
conditioned,
it's
they were
going
just
north
piled
of
on.
that, then that's something else.
Right at the turn where the road breaks to the left,
I'll-
it's right on the right there.
I'm right there. I'll
Ah.
take a look.
That's just strange.
Yeah, it might have been part of an approved project, just no signs or anything down there.
Well, did you see the rocks, or somebody just said?
No, I went down there with,
Oh, okay.
with Todd. It was, yeah, it was a
Oh,
month and a
oh,
half
okay.
ago, I guess. and
Okay.
Figured
I'll
we'd try to
take-
find out who put them there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think anybody's gonna own up.
So you and I need to look at, we need to go to, Edward Foster and Vinyl. Right?
Yep. Order.
Yeah. And you and Kevin are gonna do Eisenhower, right?
All right.
Okay. Great. You had an agent report on the FEMA maps in Deer Commons?
Yeah, we have the draft FEMA maps, and the town has 90 days to comment on them. So they went throughout the building and to selectmen and to planning, and it looks like several houses will go into flood zone that weren't previously in flood zone.
Right.
And it's gonna be advertised in the paper, there has to be a public meeting, and then people get to look at the maps and ask why theirs is in or not in, and then they could go to their agents and, you know, so this is gonna be interesting.
Have you had a chance to look at them, Rosemary? The new ones?
No.
I have a set in there if you wanna take a look.
Digital, are they the new digitals?
We have the hard copies, we have the big plans on them, but it would be the same thing you'd find online from them, but there's still some possibility that they could make changes on it based on the comments, and especially if there's like a public piece of property, a street or something that Al knows something different about.
Are we, are any of the, oceanside organizations like Lighthouse Point or any of those, have they had a chance to look at any of that? I mean, sometimes it's good to get different groups that have a genuine interest in that live there to
Right,
take a
right.
look.
Yeah, I mean, so far, they just did it to town officials, but they are gonna advertise, and they're hoping for input from
Okay.
everybody. They mentioned nonprofits.
Who does that, Pat? Who does the advertising? Are we supposed to do it as our,
FEMA will come and do it through planning, I think, at this point.
okay.
I mean, the letters went to Sean Harris, and then Rick Murray went to the meetings, but I think Laura is supposed to be organizing the ads in the paper, but,
Okay.
so.
Could
Sure.
I ask that it be put on that the webmaster put it out?
Yeah, they may have already decided to do that, but I can check on that.
Speaking of Laura, I was there in her office last week, and she asked me, it's a project that we're supposed to get together with her on, and I'm drawing a blank right now. And I made it,
not Deer Commons, is it?
Deer Commons is one of them.
Open space?
Maybe it'll come to me before the end of the meeting. I promised her that we would discuss that.
Kimberly?
You know, that lot on Kimberly, that guy came in a year or two ago and had, the extension. And that's a really weird lot.
Yeah, he has to come in and, yeah.
Huh?
It's like kinda set
Yeah,
back.
well,
in.
it's just as you go in Kimberly, it would be on your
On the
right-hand
right, yeah.
side. And he came in a year or
Yeah, I
two
remember
ago, cause he wanted to, extend the orders or something, cause he hadn't done
Yeah.
anything with it. He still hasn't done anything
Mhm.
with it, I don't. It's a very questionable lot.
He came in today, he's thinking he's gonna build on that lot, move into that house and sell his current house, cause he's the house at the cul-de-sac now.
Yeah, that's what he said he was gonna do when he came in.
Yeah, but
Eventually, he said. So.
Yeah. And the engineer said, can you do a revised plan? And I said, no, you really have to do an amendment and notify abutters if you're gonna move the location of the house. So the original plan showed the house set way back, now he wants to push it way up near the cul-de-sac.
if you pull the file, I wonder how long, because there were wetlands out back there.
Mhm.
I just wonder how long ago it was that it was actually flagged.
Yeah, I told him he has to get it reflagged too.
Oh, okay,
so.
good.
So was it approved?
Originally it was
But
approved
It was.
with, there was gonna be replication, there was gonna be some alteration, there was gonna be wetland replication required. Now he wants to change the location of the house, so needs to re-advertise, reflag, and then, he doesn't have to do a new NOI, but he has to do an amended plan,
Okay.
engineered plan.
Okay,
So, he's gonna come back soon, I think.
all right.
That might have been the one, but,
No, you know what it is? Walden Woods is a 40B project
Oh.
between Stenbeck Place and Tilden Road.
They starting that again?
Yeah, but there's only, I mean, this was before I got on the commission. There's a very small area of wetlands in the corner, so that would be the southeast corner of the property. And because it's a 40B, it was approved by DEP. So I really don't think that there's much that we're gonna have to do, other than we'll be looking at their pre-construction. I mean, they're grading right to the edge of the wetlands, because they're not looking at a buffer zone, because it's a 40B.
And it was a slant, wasn't it?
It's a little bit of a slope.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wanna look
yeah,
at that.
you know, you can stop them from building like that as a town. You don't have to go by just the state regulations on that.
It was before I was on the commission. I don't know a lot of the history. I know that they're gonna, and it's been sitting idle for a long time,
There's one house out there.
but it's gonna start back up.
Yeah.
And I think Laura's just looking for you to take a look at the piece that we have, and if there's any action that we need to take or
Yeah.
whatever, and maybe work with her on the pre-construction piece. But I think this was all approved. It was, you know, it was, obviously it was one that was more controversial, wasn't as controversial as others, but it was, certainly has been.
Yeah.
But I think she's just looking for some help with that pre-construction piece and whatever. If you see something else that's missing, you know, a lot of these, the orders were continued because of economic reasons, so.
Yeah. Yeah, some of those that are building close to wetland, you need more erosion controls than a normal
Right.
project.
So I think maybe that would be something, if you
Yeah.
wouldn't mind.
Yeah,
But she brought that up the other day. I told her I'd speak with you about it. But I'm not even familiar with,
Well, we tried, or I know I tried, I think it was last year, to go out there, but it's all gated
Right.
and you couldn't get in. Because there was a question last year that it was coming back up.
yeah.
And, but it definitely, like you said, our jurisdiction was just a little bit on the corner.
Right.
And,
This is a 40B that's
yeah,
gated?
that's a 40B.
Gated.
Kinda got dead in the water, huh?
Well,
No.
gated it like
Gated in the
construction
sense they
gates.
didn't want
Oh.
anybody out there.
Okay.
I'm sorry, yeah, you couldn't get out there on the property, it was just fenced and, no.
Do you know what Stenbeck Place is off of Hazel Ave?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a little dead-end road, and at the end of that, this project started, what, 10 years ago?
10 years ago,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And there's one house in there, and I'm sure they need to tear it down and stuff, they can't, it's been vacant all these years. That one
I don't
house in
know.
there. I don't know, it just looks pathetic.
So she'll be talking to you about that.
Who's the developer, do you know? On that?
I don't know. Because I think it changed hands a few times. Steve would.
Originally, right? But is he the one that's there now? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Deer Commons, they had the pre-construction meeting today. They're getting ready to start within a week or two. And it is McSherry and Tedeschi are the developers, and Paul Marabito and Greg Tanzi are the engineers, and the town has hired Beals and Thomas to oversee the project. And SLT is doing the site work. And I think Laura said they've had good luck with them, and we've had good luck with them in the past. So we met with them today.
Oh, good.
And they're not gonna be allowed to clear cut the whole place, so, they're gonna do clearing for the road, and then clearing for the septic and for the, detention basin. It's a whole, one lot is all the septic for all 10 houses, so it's a big septic system. So Jennifer was at the meeting, and, so they're getting ready to go.
Okay.
CRs.
Anything else on agents'
No.
issues?
Just the conservation restriction stuff
Just-
that we.
I had a quick exchange with some of the folks from the Conway School, and they were on to other projects, and they involved a couple other things, but they were anxious to know how things were, and right after all the rain, I just happened to be able to make the pipes loop when, and it was really cool, because the water was screaming out of
Oh,
those.
yeah, I bet it was.
It was really pretty, but all of those brooks were really flowing, it was,
Oh, yeah.
it was nice.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get out there as much when the weather warms up, but out between all the ferns and stuff, that was,
It's beautiful
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
Beautiful time of year, yeah.
it was really nice, and it was cool, you know, it was one of those days that was still, it was cool, so it was good. So on the CRs, just so everybody knows, there's a change, community preservation in funding these projects. We used to buy them and then get the CRs done after the property was acquired, but they've been hanging out there forever, and some of them
Yes.
haven't been done. So they decided to change that and make it that we can't pass on the property until the CR is adopted. And it makes sense to do that. Community preservation has a different attorney than the town's attorney to do this, someone that's more familiar with these pieces, and hopefully they'll pull together and we'll wrap up the ones that aren't done. But right now, what we have is the two pieces of property. It's the Lynn Litchfield, which is in the Red Maple Swamp between Country Way and the railroad bed. And Tony was good enough to take a look at these. But in doing these, we also just ought to think that the other two that hopefully will happen relatively soon is Higgins McAllister and the Crosby piece. And so we may have them a little bit different between those, because I think that the function of the properties is a little different, but.
Well, one of the CRs that I was looking at to come up with some ideas was for another piece of Litchfield property down there. And,
Down in, meaning from the west end?
no, down by the railroad tracks.
Oh, okay.
At least that's my understanding. And if that is correct, then I think that we should probably use the same wording. But I did have some questions. The first of which you kind of brought up. These CRs are between the town and whoever's going to hold the deed.
Right.
Does the owner who is selling it to the town have any involvement in, I mean,
I
I
don't
would
think
have.
so. I mean, we're acquiring the property from them, giving them money, so they don't,
And they're not asking for any involvement?
well, I guess the Litchfield piece, they wanted to name,
The Litchfield Preserve or something. They want to name it
Yeah.
something Litchfield. That's
Okay,
the
I haven't-
piece up the west end.
I haven't seen
No, no,
anything
no, no,
about that.
Oh.
the
Oh,
Litchfield's,
this one, Death Wade.
yeah, something Wade.
Preserve. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. We have the two.
It would just seem to me that if I were selling a piece of property to the town that was gonna ultimately either have an easement or, be given as a conservation piece, that I would want to at least review the document that was going to be the
Why
conservation
would
piece.
that be though, Tony? They were paid money.
If they don't care, they don't care, that's fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
Well,
if-
I think in a lot of cases, they're, especially with like the Crosby piece or the Higgins-McAllister piece, personally, I think they're getting what the appraised value is, but I think in those cases, they probably could have sold the property for more, and they're not. So if they have some concerns, or they wanna name it or something, I don't have a problem with that.
No, I just don't want, I can think of people that would put want restrictions put in there that really only service them and don't. That's all.
Yeah.
I just wonder how much input you want. If it's next to their, I don't know. I understand the naming of it or something, I mean, that's so minor, but I would think most of them, that the use and so forth and so on, the restrictions on it would basically be the same.
I mean, it's more a question in my mind rather than a comment. I mean, if they don't want to have input, then they shouldn't have input. And, I mean, if they're,
Steve?
Yeah, I was just gonna comment that if you do the CR before the transfer has taken place, then it really has to do with whoever the property owner is, because they'll be signing the restriction, because they're still the legal owner of the property,
Huh, interesting.
and whoever holds the CR. So if the town doesn't hold the CR, it's really not gonna have much to do with town.
I don't know that it has to be on the property I think they want it ready, so when we pass,
That's different,
it gets done right away.
that's different.
I don't believe it gets put on the property
Yeah,
until after we pass, but we wanna do it at the same time. We don't wanna be out there 3 years, 4 years with no CR on the
and
property.
nobody's done
Then the
anything.
Conservation Commission potentially could sign the CR with whoever is gonna hold it.
Right.
That way you guys get
Yeah.
what you want of the property.
Yeah.
That's probably the better way
But,
to do it.
but if, in that CR, if there's this particular wish or request from the people that are selling it, and we can work it into that, then you're right, Tony, they should have an opportunity to take a look.
Well, they should have an opportunity to have a look, but doesn't mean that they will,
if they, Mike,
dictate what it says.
legally, and I'm following up on what Steve says, if they're selling it to the town,
Yeah.
and they don't care, they're finished with it, they've done it. And the CRs as they're written now are between the town and the nonprofit that's going to be
Okay.
holding. And that's fine. My question, it was just simply a question. Then I do have a question. Both the ones that I looked at refer to a management plan.
Yeah.
Have we ever had a management plan on any of these properties? Because theoretically, the nonprofit that's holding the deed is supposed to, A, have a management plan, and B, at least annually review the property
Yeah,
for that plan.
supposed to.
And,
I think they're pretty loose if there is much of anything. I mean, it was just basically the property's gonna be used for passive recreation, hiking. I mean, that's why we did this study, and I'm hoping that we can incorporate, I think
Some of
the CR permitted different uses and restricted
Right.
certain uses.
Right.
And that's clear in most of them that I've read, you know, that,
That's correct.
okay?
That is correct.
But
But a management
if it says
plan is a
management
different.
plan, if it's habitat management or forestry, I don't think any of those say it can or cannot have one or the other. I mean, if one were written in there that there'll be no, say, forestry or harvesting or something
Yeah.
like that, but I don't believe that says that in any of those that I,
None of these that I've read.
right.
Uh,
They were more to be sure that they were never developed and that they could
Right.
continue to be used for passive recreation, but it wasn't really defined.
And you kind of wonder whether we should even talk about a management plan.
Well, I think as a policy, the commission, I mean, part of hopefully what came out of the Conway School will be that we can discuss that at some point and say, is some type of a forest, you know, should we be doing this? Would we be better stewards of the property by having,
Having a plan or doing something.
yeah. Would we help in terms of, say, fire control,
Yeah,
other animals, you know, recreation for people?
well, I think we should look at the way that wording is in here,
Okay.
is really my only comment.
Yep.
And all of these, all of them, the two that I've read, have as a reserved right, the right to hunt deer in accordance with the local and state rules and regulations. And they both have it, and I think all the ones that probably anybody has read have it. I realize that this is a big issue, but I think if we're gonna, at the time that these were originally written, and this is all in part of the boilerplate, most of this seems to be boilerplate, except
Right.
for the first 2 pages. When this was originally written, deer were the only thing that was worth hunting around here, but now
Turkeys are nowhere to be
turkeys are, you know, running rampant. Now, this particular piece of property that we're talking about, I don't think probably has a lot of turkey down on the marsh. But if it's part of the boilerplate, I wonder whether we shouldn't put that in. But whether that's a topic for another conversation.
Well, the two parcels on this side of 3A,
You can't hunt.
well, technically, the way I understand it,
There's no
the
hunting.
town can say that you can't discharge a firearm.
Yeah, but the town can't regulate hunting.
The town doesn't
State.
make hunting regulations.
Okay.
So some of the
However,
things.
none of these properties down here fall within that 500-foot
Right,
Right.
area. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's a moot point
right.
for almost every property that we have. So if we even have that in this one, I don't think it makes any difference, but I think it's something that we need to
Yep.
That's a good
look
point.
at. And then a couple of other just small items. My question to you, Frank, was with whom should I discuss these small little details
I'd rather,
to get it off?
personally, I'd rather see you do it with the attorney. Do we have her name? Is it Kathleen O'Connell?
The worst present from CPC?
Yeah. It'd almost be
have her
good
name.
if we could, why don't you actually, do you have Lisa Fenton's email address?
Yeah, I guess I do, yeah.
Right.
At yahoo.com, yeah.
Yeah.
Should I just
Why
email
don't
her?
you email Lisa and see if she's got a contact and if it's okay for
Okay.
you to speak? Most times they want some permission, because the attorneys are so expensive. We need to get permission to talk with them. They don't want us just yakking on the phone, so.
Okay, so I'll email, I will email
Check with Lisa.
That's no problem. Okay.
All right.
And that's
Appreciate your,
essentially,
that'd be awesome.
and the issue, let's talk about this afterwards.
Yeah,
But this is
that'd
the
be
CR
great.
deal.
Okay. And I'm gonna see if I can get some more of those copies printed. I've spoken to somebody to see if we get them so that they could get distributed. And
Well, that's really the important thing to me, because I'd like to be able to work,
And we should. I mean, to have only 3 copies of that is silly.
yeah.
So I talked to another printer, and I want to go back to the people that printed that, and we'll get some quotes, and I think
Oh, okay.
community
So there's
preservation.
no chance of having anything before Friday?
Hang on to that one.
I will, I'll keep this.
Yep.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
done.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? Mr. Henderson?
I'm just here to get a certificate of compliance. I'm under a deadline, and I think Mr. Gallivan can explain it.
Which one?
This was out on Bailey's Island.
Oh,
We talked
okay.
about it, yeah.
And we have a letter from the engineer, and Pat's been out there.
Yeah,
So-
I just have to, I'm going to Europe, so I have to record it before I go. Is there any chance I could get it tonight? Is it? No? Any chance I can get it tomorrow?
Yeah.
What time is convenient for you?
10:30.
So how do
She
you-
needs a ride to work in the morning.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, how do you get it signed?
Tonight, we get it signed.
Oh, I see, and then it gets notarized tomorrow, or? I mean,
There is no notary, but I have to type on the names that they, so the registry knows who signed it.
okay. I don't want to be
Yeah.
pushy, I'm worried about it only because there's a forfeited escrow. Even if you've done the work, it's not recorded, and it's a lot of money, and I'm not gonna be here for the next 2 weeks, so what time, would it be convenient to come after 10:30, did you say?
Yeah.
All right, I'll-
Give a call first, be
Okay.
sure.
All right, thank you again for your help.
Do you have your car fixed?
No, you wanna pay for
You're,
my
you're
car?
taking it.
Station go to Europe for you.
All right.
All right, thank you so much.
Sounds good.
Leave while you can.
Carol called me this morning, and said, well, I'll try, but my son waited at about an hour at the gas station when I told him I'd pick him up.
I thought of that after I called you, Frank.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we have a motion?
Make a
To
motion
adjourn.
Adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Thank you.